If you are a nurse and you do bank shifts, then you are able to use these bank shifts in order to get a mortgage. I hear quite often when working with people who work in the NHS that you're unable to get a mortgage as a nurse using bank shifts because it's a temporary contract, it's not guaranteed, shifts can change week to week, rotas can change, and you pick and choose when you want to work. Now, that simply isn't true. As a nurse working on the bank, you are able to get a mortgage and you're treated the same way as many other contractors. Because it is a qualification that you've got, and because it is a professional role, you are likely to get a mortgage with a high street lender, provided that you can prove that your income has been sustainable over a certain period of time and that it will likely continue. Most people know that when you work for the NHS, you're usually working there for life, and there's always going to be bank shifts available. And lenders take a view that as long as you've been doing it consistently over a period of time, then that income can be taken into consideration. There's a few key things that the lenders will look out for. And to help you do that, the first thing that you should be doing is checking and understanding your budget and what it's going to look like month to month when you are a homeowner. So my advice is to get an understanding as to your monthly budget. So set a budget, look at your budget planner, look at what you're spending your money on each month, and look at what your income is consistently coming into your accounts every month. And if consistently you're earning more than what you're spending, that's a good sign for many lenders that a mortgage is going to be affordable. How a lender is going to assess your income is going to be based on your a track record of earning. So some lenders will look at 3 months, some lenders will look at 6, and some lenders will want to go back for a full year of consistent income from bank shifts to make sure that you can use that income towards the mortgage. How they assess that is usually asking for 12 months pay slips or 6 months pay slips. They can also get this figure from things like P60s, but usually they want to see a consistent monthly income or weekly income from the bank shift, so they'll generally ask for the monthly pay slips or weekly pay slips. Then once you've established your budget, once you've established what and the evidence that you're going to need to provide, it's then time to think about what lender's going to be the right one for you. Because different lenders have got lots of different types of criteria when it comes to supporting bank nurses when they're looking for a mortgage. As a mortgage broker, I know the kind of things to look out for, and every kind of person, every single person is different, and I can place the mortgage with the right lender at the right time to make sure that the mortgage is going to go through. Doesn't just mean that if you only do bank shifts, if you're a nurse and you're doing overtime in the bank, that bank overtime income can also be used to support your application, and that can also be used to contribute towards your income. What I would suggest is if you are planning to look for a mortgage and you're doing bank shifts, start thinking about how easy it's going to be to gather your documents. So if you get paper pay slips, I would maybe start keeping them, keeping a record of them. Or if you've got access to the online system, you can use that. And that would mean that you can just go in there, log in, and download them as and when you need them. What you would also need to do is prove that money's getting paid to you into your bank account, but that's fairly straightforward. You would just get bank statements for that. And then it's just your standard mortgage documents, things like your ID, proof of address, your credit reports. And once you've gathered all the documents, you would then be able to apply formally for a mortgage. And if you've got this far, the likelihood, especially if you're using a mortgage broker who works closely with NHS and has an understanding of bank shifts, you're likely to get a mortgage approved.